Honorable Mrs. Leela Devi Dukan Lachuman, Vice Prime Minister, Minister of Education, Tertiary Education, Science and Technology. Dr. Jayanti Nuga, Chairperson of the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center Trust Fund Board. Members of the Diplomatic Corps, especially Her Excellency Mrs. Singla and representatives of the Indian High Commissions, directors and heads of departments and parastatal bodies, international guests and partners in the National Science Week 2021, all our local partners and supporters of this event, distinguished guests, rectors, educators, science professionals, science passionates, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed, good morning. I'm Dr. Aman Kumar Mulu, Director of the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center, and shall be your host for this morning event. Well, although we are not able to meet face-to-face like we used to in previously, due to the ongoing situation, I'm still very delighted to welcome you to this special event organized by the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center with the support of our parent ministry, the Ministry of Education, Tertiary Education, Science and Technology. On the 30th November 2021, that is next Tuesday, RGSC will celebrate its 17th year of existence in the Mauritian landscape, and we are proud about our achievements on all fronts. Since March 2020, most of our physical activities have been cancelled. We have had to review our strategies and make use of the available resources, know-how, creativity, and collaborations, of course using technology to innovate. With a challenge to do more with less, we have optimized our resources to reach out more and do more without affecting the quality of our activities. With this new approach, our target audience has almost trebled, and RGSC won the NPQC Gold Award and the Grand Winner NPQC once again in 2021 on productivity and quality amidst COVID-19 in the public sector category. And tomorrow, we shall participate in the ICQCC in Hyderabad, India. I wish my team, under the leadership of Mr. Ramsaran, best of luck. In this situation of COVID-19 pandemic, everyone is dependent on science and technology. Scientists from all around the world are working continuously to save our nations. Simple barriers defined in the sanitary protocols, such as wearing masks, using sanitizers, and keeping physical distance, have their scientific significance and reduce the societal phobia. As well said by Marie Curie, I quote, "Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now it is a time to understand more so that we may fear less." End quote. Well, before I move on to the next part of the event and give you more information, I'm very happy to pass on to our chairperson, Dr. Jayanti Nuga, who no longer needs an introduction in our Mauritian community. But for those joining us for the first time, I can assure you that her rich experience and knowledge in science education is adding more spices to RGSC's spirit. Dr. Nuga, can you please unmute yourself and deliver your welcome address, please? Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Mrs. Leela Devi Dukan Lachuman, Vice Prime Minister and Minister of Education, Tertiary Education, Science and Technology. Dr. Aman Kumar Mulu, Director of the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center. Educators, rectors, senior officials of the parent ministry, heads of parastatal bodies, representatives of the diplomatic corps, distinguished guests, members of the media, and our international guests and students, with all protocol observed, I wish you all good morning. It is indeed a pleasure to welcome you all to two important events which the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center is organizing with the collaboration of our partners. Firstly, the National Science Week, and secondly, the launching of science clubs by the Ministry of Education in collaboration with the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center. As Dr. Molu has said, we are not doing many physical activities because of the pandemic, but since 2016, thanks to the Honorable Vice Prime Minister and Minister of Education, funds have been allocated to the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center to organize this special event, which is the National Science Week, to sensitize our youth and the population at large on science and technology issues and their importance to our daily lives. Apart from having a critical mass of scientists and technologists needed for the development of the country, a scientifically literate population is necessary for a better quality of life. The present pandemic has made us all realize how important science is for us to understand the facts as they are. Let us not forget that we must use all our scientific knowledge and skills with a high degree of discipline to solve the issues confronting us in this pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, as you may be aware, since the approval of the cabinet by for the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center to hold this annual Science Week, ever since 2015, the event has been successful on all fronts. The National Science Week concept is to arouse the interests, increase knowledge, and engage a more significant number of persons from as many target segments as possible in science and technology related areas. I would like to say here that we have received a lot of support and encouragement from all quarters, especially science educators, both locally and internationally. And here I would like to say that Professor Michael Rice from the University College of London, who is the president of the ASE from January 2022, ASE is the Association of Science Education in UK. You have Professor Mike Watts from Brunel University, who visited us also in the past, and Lady Sudale Tunnicliffe, Dr. Lady Sudale Tunnicliffe from University College and from CASME, Commonwealth Association for Science, Technology and Mathematics Educators, and the High Commission of India are all supporting us and have really congratulated the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center for this laudable initiative. Restrictions due to COVID-19 have forced the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center to hold this event online as far as possible, thanks to the facilities offered by technology. During the past 2 years into the pandemic, the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center, true to its mandate of popularizing science, has done its best to use virtual media to reach students and the population. The National Science Week is offering a wide range of science and technology-related activities for all segments of the population, focusing on secondary school students mainly. The Rajiv Gandhi Science Center staff, under the able leadership of Dr. Molu, with the director, had to review, reinvent, and adopt innovative means to convey the message of science through this event and inspire our youth to show greater interest in STEM subjects and eventually choose a career in the scientific fields. The future workforce of this country will need young people who are more innovative, multi-skilled, and entrepreneurship driven to balance scientific, economic, ecological, and social development to contribute towards a sustainable future. We hope that once this COVID pandemic is gone, we at the RGSC will be able to showcase exhibitions and interactive sessions using physical face-to-face means next year, hopefully, though we have a very tight budget for the National Science Week 2021. During the whole of this week, according to the program, various online activities are being held with the collaboration of our stakeholders, namely the Mauritius Broadcasting Corporation, the University of Mauritius, UTM, MIE, the MITD, the National Council of Science Museum, the High Commission of India, and many others. The Early Childhood Education Authority and the Polytechnics of Mauritius are also part of our activities. In line with its mandate, the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center is also organizing a workshop about the use of science and technology in the SME sector. For the first time, we are bringing experts together to talk about the role of science and technology in reinventing and readapting small enterprises within the pandemic. One highlight of this week is a high-level discussion at the international level with CEOs and experts from science centers and museums in science communication. We are happy to have with us on that event the director of the National Council of Science Museum also participating in the discussion. We have already had some preliminary discussions with them to share our ideas and opinions and find out how they have coped with the restrictions imposed by the pandemic and how we can benefit and collaborate further. As you are aware, Rajiv Gandhi Science Center is on its 17th year, and our Rajiv Gandhi Science Center Trust Fund Board Act was passed in 1994, and it is outdated. It is high time to renew it so that it can respond to present-day challenges. I hope that this act will be passed eventually, and we can do more activities which are quite restrictive at the moment. To conclude, we congratulate the staff of the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center for their commitment and thank the Honorable Vice Prime Minister and Minister of Education, Honorable Leela Devi Dukan Lachuman, for her unflinching support, the board of the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center Trust Fund Board, and all those stakeholders who are contributing to make this event a success, even if it is 100% online. We hope that the science clubs and more students, through the science clubs, more students will be inspired to take a greater interest in STEM subjects and become more problem solving. As you know, every problem has a solution, and we must be creative enough, to solve it. That was a quote by Abdul Kalam. So I hope that this event will be a great success with the collaboration of all those partners who are involved in it. Thank you all for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Nuga. Thank you, Dr. Nuga, for your continuous support, precious advices, and your networking potential for having connected us to many experts in science education. As I mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned earlier, as highlighted by the chairperson, the pandemic has motivated us to reinvent and reshape ourselves to be able to continue our business plan. And in the context of National Science Week, among with other innovative programs newly developed by RGSC to keep on engaging students with science is a 4-minute science launched some weeks earlier. The 4-minute science contest is a science communication contest which encourages students to explain a science topic in simple language in a pre-recorded video. In this contest, students in teams have to produce a 4-minute video, as the name suggests, to explain scientific concepts in a very simple language, in layman's language, as we say in our jargon. They have been trained by Dr. Cole Hagen, an eminent science communicator from Australia. Over 130 teams have registered for the event. A panel of professional jury from UOM, University of Mauritius, and Mauritius Institute of Education have met and selected the best 20 videos. The 10 videos in each category will be uploaded on Facebook page of the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center for public voting. Thus, we aspire that the students will reach out to a broader audience. I have now the pleasure to invite you to discover our nominees as selected by the jury panel. So in 2 categories. So first category, category 1, nominees, the nominees are as shown in the video. And of course, we have a second category, category 2, the 10 best projects are shown in the following video. Thank you. So a big congratulations to all the participants in this 4-minute science competition, to all the rectors, the supervising teachers, as well as the ministry for motivating us to the students to participate in this 4-minute video competition in that situation. Now, I have the immense pleasure to announce that as from today afternoon, the videos, 20 best that you have seen recently, the names have been shown on the video, on the screen, will be available for public voting on Facebook. And it will be available until the 17th of January, 2022. And I will encourage you to pass on the message so that the best videos get the maximum votes. Now, of course, this event wouldn't have been possible without certain support. I did mention the Ministry of Education, but also I wish to thank the Mauritius Commercial Bank for sponsoring the prizes, especially what we call the MCB rupees for this particular event. And MCB, I wish to highlight, is a long-term partner with the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center and many events. And I wish to congratulate my staff, students, and of course, everyone who have made this event a possible success. So thank you and congratulations to all the winners of this competition. My dear online guests, as you know, the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center operates under the aegis of the Ministry of Education, Tertiary Education, Science and Technology. And one of the main market segments is the school population. RGSC develops and organizes a wide variety of science activities for the pre-primary, primary, and secondary students. And full support is obtained from the parent ministry to hold these activities in the best possible way. Unfortunately, as you're all aware, physical activities have been completely disrupted, and even visits to our exhibitions at Bell Village have been suspended. And this week's event shows once again our commitment and team effort to innovate and make use of available technology to reach our audience. All this wouldn't have been possible without the full assistance from our board, the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center Trust Fund Board, under the able chairmanship of Dr. Nuga, the chairperson of Rajiv Gandhi Science Center Trust Fund Board, of course, who have supported all our initiatives. And in particular, our desk officer, Mrs. Gauridas, the Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry, the Office of the Chief Technical Officer and the leadership of Mr. Ogbar, the Extracurricular Department under the responsibility of Mr. Bigan, the Zone Directors, and especially our Honorable Vice Prime Minister, who provides a continued support in all our endeavors. In view of this prevailing situation and her busy schedule, the Honorable Vice Prime Minister could not be present physically, and in view of to avoid any connectivity issues, we have preferred to record her message. And instead, she has sent a video of her message, which you are going to pass on. So I have now immense pleasure to invite you to listen to the message of the Vice Prime Minister, Minister of Education and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology, Mrs. Leela Devi Dukan Lachuman.
Dr. Jayanuga, Chairperson of the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center, Dr. Malu, the Director, Her Excellency Mrs. Nandini Singla, High Commissioner of the Republic of India to Mauritius, Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, heads of parastatal bodies, senior officials of my ministry, educators, students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. It's a pleasure for me to address you today in the context of the dual launch of the National Science Week 2021 and of the science clubs in schools, both organized by the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center. Indeed, we would certainly have welcomed the opportunity for us all to be physically present at the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center for today's event. But in a way, through this virtual meet, we are demonstrating our ability to adapt to and adopt new norms arising as a consequence of sanitary protocols that are the order of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, the idea of organizing a National Science Week is in itself not so new. We have had it in the early 1990s in Mauritius. But it is also a common feature in countries like South Africa, India, and Australia. The concept is a simple but an uplifting one. A whole week of activities dedicated to science and technology with a view of whipping up learners and even adults' interest, and through a host of activities reinforce the relevance of science and technology in everyday life. And where this edition of the National Science Week is concerned, it is a means of getting people and school students engaged in different aspects of science and technology. Ladies and gentlemen, I need hardly dwell on the importance of science in society. Today's COVID-induced situation highlights all too clearly the acute significance of relying upon science, for instance, for the development of vaccines against the pandemic. Let me therefore reiterate that through such an event, we intend to make science and technology accessible to one and all, because we strongly believe that science and technology are of cardinal importance in our everyday life and for our welfare. Louis Pasteur's words ring deep here. Science, he wrote, knows no country, because knowledge belongs to humanity and is the torch which illuminates the world. It is almost stated in the nature of truism. In fact, we interact so much with the products of science and technology in our homes and offices that we have now taken them all for granted. Whether it is our household appliances like the TV, fridge, the washing machine, electrical networks, microwaves, Wi-Fi, and our smartphones, or again, the food we grow, buy, and eat, they all plausibly involve the use of science and technology. That being said, it would be therefore wise, just for some time, to reflect on the team of people, researchers, scientists who are presently thinking and busy working on our future TV sets, laptops, and smartphones. And for all I know, that could be tomorrow, you, my dear students. Ladies and gentlemen, I also invite you to look at the larger picture. Today, we cannot be obtuse in downplaying the primeval importance and omnipresence of science and scientific principles instrumental in crafting benefits for society itself. The creation of groundbreaking and bellwether knowledge, the progressive evolution in education, the weighty improvement in the quality of our lives, at the end of the day, science is instrumental in boosting the prosperity of human lives and in solving the various issues facing society, like climate change, health challenges, food insecurity, and poverty. Small wonder then that since 2016, funds have been earmarked by my ministry to promote science with a much more significant impact through the National Science Week. Ladies and gentlemen, let me here congratulate the Rajiv Gandhi Science Centre for ensuring that this National Science Week is delivered through a wide range of formats. The partnership with the Embassy for the conduct of activities like daily science quotes on the local TV, science quiz questions for the radio, TV SMS games, amongst others, is more than welcome. As importantly now that we cannot have in-person events, it is pleasant to note that the first part of the week has been mainly shifted to online mode with a series of webinars targeting the Mauritian public and diaspora through an interface with eminent scientists. The theme of the webinars are really topical: rethinking education in post-COVID-19 era, the role of science and technology, and artificial intelligence. This last on artificial intelligence to be delivered by Dr. Priyanka Jain, Associate Director at the Ministry of Electronics and IT from India, will, I'm sure, attract a large audience. As well, participants will be exposed to a high-level forum on science communication entitled COVID-19, a paradigm shift in science communication and international perspective. I'm told this forum will bring together eminent CEOs from National Council of Science Museums of India, the Southern African Association of Science and Technology, KESACON of Australia, the Glasgow Science Centre of UK, and the Association of Science and Technology Centres of the USA. This is likely to be an intellectual treat. I will here appeal and encourage youngsters, especially to connect to the webinars. I'm sure there will be fruitful discussions that you would not wish to miss. You could also make constructive suggestions on the topics for the betterment of society. After all, a time will come when society will have to learn from you. As Robert Frost, the poet, once wrote, and I quote, "Now that I'm old, my teachers are the young," unquote. Dear students, as you can see, there are a lot of opportunities in the field of science, and I would recommend you to link up for the career guidance interaction on the program that would help you, who knows, to easily embrace a career in that domain. Ladies and gentlemen, as a former science educator, I'm all too aware of the necessity to champion the cause of science in schools. My ministry has indeed been actively involved in promoting STEM among students of primary and secondary education. As part of this process, this week will also serve to promote the setting up of science clubs in schools. This will be one of the hands-on ways to encourage, motivate, and engage students in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics related activities through lively participation in the workings of the science clubs. The Rajiv Gandhi Science Centre will be facilitating the setting up of these science clubs in secondary schools with the support of my ministry. And we firmly believe that this initiative will encourage students to choose science subjects as areas of study or for future career, as well as facilitate knowledge sharing among their peers. Schools will be informed as to the modalities pertaining thereto, including training of educators. Let me add to the responsibilities of the Rajiv Gandhi Science Centre. The setting up of science clubs, I believe, will also be an opportunity for the Rajiv Gandhi Science Centre to help in the production of a teacher resource book that would facilitate teachers' engagement of their students in numerous science activities. This could be done in collaboration with the MIE, but also with the creative support of teachers who are the ground level practitioners. Incidentally, and in the same context, I'm pleased to announce that the Indian High Commission is equally keen to support this initiative of the ministry. The Indian High Commission will be supporting a school in each zone on a pilot basis in setting up its science club by donating some science equipment. This will be part of the festivities associated with India's 75th year of independence next year. The willingness to reflect India's achievements in science and technology is indeed high on the agenda of the celebrations for the occasion. I would also like to mention that it will also be 75 years since our two nations established diplomatic relations based on mutual trust. I wish here to thank Her Excellency Mrs. Singla for the entire unstinted collaboration she has been systematically providing to my ministry. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank everyone that has collaborated towards making this event both a reality and in all likelihood a definite success. All the stakeholders, the students, the educators, the panelists, and of course the entire team of the Rajiv Gandhi Science Centre. As a drumbeater for science, I know that things have been going on smoothly for the centre in its endeavour to ignite the scientific spirit of students. National Science Week 2021 is a welcome addition to the Science Centre's exhibits and programs. I sincerely hope that all the interactive discussions being organised will contribute positively to the increased knowledge and enthusiasm of all those taking part. I will encourage everyone to pass on the message to their families and friends to participate actively in the interactive sessions. We also hope to have the second part of the National Science Week 2021 with physical activities, such that students can then interact face-to-face with our local scientists. With these words, it's my immense pleasure to launch the National Science Week 2021, and I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for this inspiring message. And thank you indeed for giving much detail about the role of science and technology in Mauritius and the importance for our youth, and also for officially launching the science clubs in our secondary schools and declaring open the National Science Week 2021. Now, as you mentioned, especially for our audience, I want to give some more description. The Science Club project is an initiative of the ministry to encourage our youth to choose science subjects and to pursue scientific careers. The acting Chief Technical Officer, Mr. Ogbar, has been monitoring this project closely, and now Jesse has been given a responsibility to look into the strategies, operations, and training of educators and students to ensure the success of science clubs. As the education department of the Rajiv Gandhi Science Centre, under the headship of Mr. Rangu, is working on this project. Online registration forms will be sent to all schools very shortly. Now, it's good to highlight that the ministry is also supporting all the secondary schools set up science clubs by providing a funding of 10,000 rupees as seed money per school. And moreover, as highlighted by Honorable Minister, the Indian High Com is also supporting certain schools on a pilot project. Now, one poster that will be going to all schools is a poster that we have developed at our GSC. It's on STEM, as Minister mentioned. STEM is an acronym of the day in the field of science education. And this is a poster that's going to all schools. And of course, we officially declare science clubs open, and we hope in the near future, many schools will join the club, and will have clubs and make it very active. So that's part. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have now moved, reached the last part of today's ceremony. As mentioned, Minister has already officially opened the National Science Week 2021. And of course, it's a full calendar funded by government. But as mentioned by the chairperson, the minister, is going to be in two parts. This week is going to be totally online. As mentioned here, we're going to have a series of webinars, online workshops, online science quiz, international forum, as well as science in the media. And more details were provided by Honorable Minister and the chairperson. I invite you now to have a glimpse of the various, some of the activities that's going on this week. To highlight that this year's theme on National Science Week is the role of science and technology for sustainable development in the COVID-19 era. We believe this topic is very timely and concerns everyone, irrespective of age and profession. To this end, all our activities are open to the community. I wish to thank all the resource persons from the various institutions who have readily accepted the resource persons for these webinars. And we're also collaborating, as highlighted by the Indian High Commission, on a series of lectures to commemorate 75 years of India's achievement in science and technology. And this Friday we have Dr. Jain on UI. So I will invite you all to join us. Have a series of online workshops on topics of science education, the role of science and technology in the COVID era, which is today itself after this opening ceremony. And tomorrow we're having another workshop, online workshop of the importance of science and technology for SME sector. So like this, we are targeting both of the sectors of the economy. And as a highlight of this event, as mentioned by both ministers and the chairperson, we are having the first time an international forum with experts from science centers, and to discuss, to have a dialogue about what to do in such a situation for a paradigm shift in science community. And of course, we are innovated with lots of online activities, quiz, page on Facebook, and NBC as a partner, Science in the Media in various forms.
Jeu concours MBC et le Rajiv Gandhi Science Center. Jouer et gagner des disques durs externes USB de 2 TB d'une valeur de 3000 roupies chacun, offerts par le Rajiv Gandhi Science Center à l'occasion du National Science Week 2021. Il vous suffit de répondre à la question suivante. Quelle est la fleur nationale de l'île Maurice? Est-ce A. Trochetia boutoniana, boucle d'oreille, B. Hibiscus genevi, mandrinette, ou C. Crinum mauritianum, lys du pays. Tapez NSW suivi de votre réponse. Sur le 84 84 pour Mighty Mobile, le 87 78 pour MTEL ou le 83 83 pour Chili. 3 heureux gagnants seront sélectionnés lors d'un tirage au sort final à la fin des jeux. Bonne chance à tous! Chaque SMS est facturé à 3 roupies l'unité, jeu concours soumis à condition.
Thank you. We have reached the end of the event. So thank you everyone who has directly or indirectly supported us, the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center, to make the National Science Week 2021 a success. Of course, without the dedicated team at the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center, this project would not have been possible. So thank you everyone at the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center. Thank you, Chairperson, Dr. Nuga, for your continuous support, and all members of the Rajiv Gandhi Science Center Trust Fund Board. Thank you, members of the media, and last but not the least, thank you, Honorable Minister, for your unflinching support in all our endeavors. So from my side, it's a goodbye. Thank you for your time for this Wednesday morning, and I hope you will join us in our activities and possibly